We're on.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode where Brad and I discuss movies and whatnot. We are combining two movies for this one because we're a little behind. We're going to give you two. It's going to be a double feature. I think I'm going to entitle it A Most Violent Podcast. We're going to be talking about a history of violence and then Badlands, which turns out to be pretty well paired. I am your host, Joe, and this is Brad. Say hello, Brad.
Hello, everyone. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing pretty good. It's extremely hot, so I've been kind of steaming in my house a little bit here, my apartment, trying to stay cool. So I'm going to try to be cool talking about these movies that are really intense. So we'll see how
Intense,
cool.
yeah.
You look pretty cool. You got the bandana. Is that to keep you
I'm
cool, or
cool
just keep you
looking, but I'm
cool?
hot to the touch.
I see. I see.
Yeah,
So cool that he's on fire.
yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
I see. I see what you're going for. Okay. Okay. Well, it's been a while, but we're going to go with it. Hopefully, we make this an interesting conversation. Let's start off with the history of violence. I don't know what it is about me. I've kind of been on a bit of a Cronenberg kick because I like David Cronenberg, but I've only seen a couple of his big movies like Videodrome, The Fly, stuff like that, and I wasn't quite as familiar. This is one that I've been wanting to watch for a long time, probably because I don't know, interested in organized crime stuff, and I like Viggo Mortensen. But basically, History of Violence, 2005 movie. So I guess we're like in the 20th anniversary for it at this point, and I've never read it, but it is based on a graphic novel. So technically, it's sort of a comic book movie. A lot of people might not know that. It takes place in small town Midwestern America, which kind of pairs, this movie pairs very well with Badlands.
Mm.
And it's just about this guy. He seems like your normal, average American, decent guy. He's got a wife, he's got a son. He's all about, doing the right thing. His son is getting bullied, and he tells him, hey, don't resort to violence, because the movie is very much a exploration of violence. And there's this group. There's almost like a short film at the beginning of the movie where we follow these two guys. They're basically innocuous characters almost, but they're these two guys. They're on the run as maybe robbers or something. They're going around murdering people. They're on a rampage. They go and just decide to push into his diner that he runs in this small town, and it just turns out that those guys messed with the wrong person, and he is able to dispatch both of them really quickly, really efficiently. And it seems kind of strange, but at first it's like, the media covers it, and it seems like everybody kind of accepts it. Like he just reacted really quickly. It was a self-defense thing, and he kind of becomes a little bit of a town hero. And even though he does kill these people violently, it's still something that's celebrated. He tries to kind of just push it down, kind of not make a big deal out of it. But then shortly after that, there's some people that come into the town. They start kind of harassing him, stalking him, saying, "Hey, you're not this guy. You're Joey from back in Philly, like, hey, you got Ed Harris there playing like a gangster with like the creepy eye,
Mm.
and he's just saying, hey, you're pretending to be somebody else while you're doing this, and all the time, uh, Vigo's character is just like, I don't know what you're talking about, and so it almost seems like it could be like this mistaken identity sort of thing, the way that they portray it, but no, it turns out no, he is literally a guy who was a hitman, worked for the mob. I think it's like an Irish gang group, and he literally did bad things. He was a hitman or something, and he just one point said, "Hey, I'm going to flee. I'm going to leave that life behind, go out to the Midwest, change my name, change my whole personality, really," because he kind of switches into different modes, and he tries to keep this facade up, but they keep harassing his wife and his kids. Eventually, he says, I can't take it anymore, and he fights back, and then he decides, I've got to go back to my roots and deal with it because I guess I can't escape the past. So that's essentially the plot of the movie. I'll give you my quick thoughts, and then I want to hear from you, Brad. This is one that it's one of those movies I feel like I should have seen a long time ago. It's very on my alley. Everybody jokes that I like all the organized crime stuff. Um, and I like David Cronenberg. I mean, Cronenberg is a very good director. I think he's masterful when it comes to, obviously, he basically like invented the body horror genre. So when it comes to exploring the body and the disturbing, uncomfortable elements of the physical body, and making it grotesque, he's good at that. And even just watching some of his earliest films, like The Brood and Rabid, even when he had much less of a budget, he was always good at working with whoever his special effects team was to create really disgusting, believable situations, practically speaking. And usually they were like sci-fi or supernatural. But this is an example of this, and like Eastern Promises, where I thought I was really impressed because I watched a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. There's a really cool feature that comes with the DVD where it literally breaks down, I guess, all the major scenes that Cronenberg was talking about, and how literally every aspect of it is another question or a comment or meditation on violence, and not just, and you'd think the obvious stuff like the framing of the shots and the battles, but how the son deals with it, the transfer between the father and the son, the relationship between the man and the wife, and the different kinds of violence that can kind of happen there, the subtextual one, the emotional one, how we deal with violence. There's a lot of stuff going on in this movie, and I don't know if it necessarily is providing answers. It's more of an exploration of it, which is what I think what he does. And I'm talking about the special effects because even though the scene where he kills the two criminals is really quick, it's trying to show how violence isn't glorified. It isn't something that looks pretty, even though a lot of movies kind of try to beautify violence. It shows it really graphic, really realistic, and it's very, very impressive. The brief shot with the blood splatter, it's like it's very effective, even though it's a brief special effect. So that's on display. I think Vigo's character, I think he's a good actor. I think he's oddly underrated. I mean, I guess he was Aragorn, so he doesn't need to do anything else. But since then, he takes on these lower, like not lower, but lesser known dramatic roles. He can pick whatever movies he wants, and I
Mm.
think he's good. I think Maria Bello's good. I wish Ed Harris wasn't in it. I mean, I wish. I'm sorry, no, I misspoke. I'm saying I like Ed Harris, but I wish he was in it more. Is what I mean, because I love Ed Harris.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like I wish he was the main villain, but yeah, cinematography is very simple, but it's effective. I think um, the movie kind of goes when he goes back to Philly and sort of tries to take care of things. Spoilers violently. I don't know if I don't know if I was underwhelmed. Maybe that was the point of it with the violence being explored. I have one. I honestly only have one issue with the movie, which I'm gonna not gonna spoil for you because I want to shock you later. But
Mhm.
overall, I really liked the movie. Um, I don't know if I think it's like a masterful best of movie. I kind of wish it was to me, but I don't know. Maybe you can share some thoughts and it's even greater. But I thought it was very good. Definitely one I could rewatch. So
Yeah.
sorry if I'm talking too much, Brad. Take it
No,
away.
those are very, very good points. Um, Let me just start with the graphic novel element. When I first saw the movie, I didn't know it was based on a graphic novel. And as I was watching it, I mean, I had that feel. The movie has that feel to me, almost, it's, especially in the beginning with the killers at the motel, and then
Mhm.
there are some scenes where it's almost like panels. It gives you, and they're almost, they are like, they're a little cartoony. The
Hmm.
mob guys are a little cartoony. Everyone's a little cartoonish, but that's cool. It's a graphic novel. That makes sense. It's not
Okay.
supposed to be like a real thing about like the Gambinos or whatever. It's a real it's a real thing. I mean, it's not a real thing, excuse me. It's like a graphic novel becoming alive. So that I that translated well. Because if it wasn't, I think if it wasn't, like if this is a real mob story like that, it's not. I'm like, this is
Donnie
it,
Brasco.
it's a little cheesy, but it's supposed to be. It's cool. I think it's cool. I like
Okay.
so there's that element. W- w- in thinking about violence, because obviously a history of violence, and the whole movie has violence in there. As you said, there are some scenes where it's like this. There's nothing pretty about this. The the ironic thing is, maybe not ironic. I think the point here is everyone uses it, and it's almost like what you see by the end is in a weird roundabout way is violence solves everything. Violence begets violence, but you need, it's like at a certain point you got to do violence to the violence or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, you got to meet the yin with the yang or whatever like that. Even the character Joey from Philly. he has to do he becomes a new person. He says at one point, I went out to the desert to kill Joey. He went out to kill
Hmm.
Joey in the desert for a few years. He had to do violence to Joey to kill
Hmm.
him to become, I can't remember the character's name after that, but
Yeah, let me look it up
yeah,
quick. I was like, I should have known it was Tom Stall. Sorry,
Tom Stall, that's right, yeah.
Tom.
So
Tom Stall. Tom.
Tom Stall has to kill Joey. And then the then you have the killers come to town, and Tom Stall does violence to them. He kills them. Uh and then Joey has to resurrect at the end to save Tom Stall's family. Um Joey has to go kill his own brother. So there's a lot in there. It's almost like, yeah, violence is not the answer, except it kind of is. I mean, it kind of is the answer in this world in a funny roundabout way. Um, so I thought that was I, I thought that message came through. Um, yeah, I thought the Ed Harris character was kind of cool. Again, a little cartoony. He's got the weird eye. They show up in the black New York or whatever they're driving. That's cool. He's like, hey, Joey, and then it's like, coming back like a ghost. They're there in this little town. So again, that has the really, to me, like the graphic novel feel. And so I guess, like you said, it's some kind of Irish crime syndicate in the East Coast. And so they need him back because his brother can't move up because he had to pay off because of things Joey did. So as to repay the syndicate, he's got to whack his own brother,
Hmm.
which he brings them out there to do. Um, And as far as that the Tom Stall character goes, he drives. I don't know where do they in India. I don't know it doesn't say like Indiana must be Ohio because he
Yeah,
drives
I
through there and
think
gets to Philadelphia. So
Indiana, Millbrook, Indiana. Yep,
yeah,
very good.
Indiana. So he gets there, gets in that dive bar. It's kind of a little cool, like when the guy comes and says you must something like you must be Joey, and then his accent comes back. Yeah, I'm Joey, and then he comes back.
Mhm.
Like you said, it is a little anticlimactic. Um, when he to me, I don't know. It's a little anticlimactic to me. He kills everybody, and then
Well,
uh,
as you do, I suppose.
yeah,
Uh,
it is what it is.
well,
Um,
it feels anticlimactic. You know what it is?
mm.
I wish it was longer. It's like a cool 90 minutes. I wanted more of that. Let's explore his backstory. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking. I think that's what I mean. It almost, yeah, it's almost maybe not anti. Maybe that's not the right word. It's over too quick. It's like
Yes.
it's not enough there. But I guess I don't know. It's not enough there. Um, yeah, as far as the movie overall, I thought it was like you said. I don't think it's great. I think it's a good movie. I've probably seen it now 3 or 4 times. Um, I didn't think there was any like really weak characters. The son got on my nerves, but he's supposed to, I guess. I don't know. And
Yeah.
it's that time. It's that 2005 kid. So there's a little bit, yeah.
I I liked the son. I liked the I liked how there was that arc where he starts off, being very pacifist, using his brains, using his words to avoid violence with the bully, which is, the better thing to do. And then he sees what his dad does, and then there's the whole hypocrisy, like you said, of, well, you're telling me not to beat somebody up, but you murdered some guys, you defended yourself. Like, and his dad has a hard time with, yeah, how do I reconcile that? That's a tough lesson. So you see the change in the son, and the son sort of comes to his rescue. When the gangsters come back
Yeah,
and
yeah.
start shooting. So it's like you said. It's a good point about violence. Ideally, is not the answer, but there's a violent side in everyone that like you said, Joey needs to come back because if you purge all that stuff out of you, you can't defend yourself. So it's like you need to almost tackle it and fight violence with violence as a last resort because he literally got away from it and tried to, like you
Hmm.
said, completely destroy that part of himself because he wanted to. He literally had no other option to defend his family that way. So you're right. Um, that's a good point. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's over too quickly. I do like it. I'd like to watch it again to examine the graphic novel stuff because I love comic books, so I'd like to check the frames and the panels. It wouldn't surprise me if it was done that way. It's not like 2003's Ang Lee's Hulk where it's the zoom ins and the pan. That's literally a comic book movie for better or worse. But I'll tell you, I'm going to see if you can make a guess. I may have mentioned it to you. There's really only one thing about the movie I didn't like, and you said there's no weak characters, and maybe you'll disagree with me on this, but that's okay. I really didn't like this one character, not the son. Who do you think I didn't like?
Hmm. Um. Well, now that I think about it, I don't know if there's not any weak characters. I mean, who you mean you don't like the acting or you don't like the character?
Okay, I like the character in principle, but I didn't like the acting. I didn't like the actor, the male actor, because I got I I'll let you guess one, then I'll tell you. What do you think? What do you think I'm talking about?
Is it his brother?
Yes,
Yeah.
William Hurt. I
Yeah.
I I have this weird view of William Hurt where I feel like I guess he won some Academy Awards. He's like considered a great actor. I do like him, but in everything I've seen him in, he plays the same sleepy, bored guy that doesn't seem to give a crap about being here. And then he and here, I mean, I guess he's trying to give a different performance, but like, and I know you said it's hammy, but he's like, hey, what does he call it?
Brohim.
Brohim,
Brohim. Yeah.
Brohim.
Now that you mention it, I hate
I'm
that.
like,
Yeah.
it was just very, and I mean, it's not even that it's cheesy. It's just, I think it's just, I think it's just kind of too silly. And also, he doesn't have any kind of accent really. He's got the almost like much. I don't know. He does not exude in the role gangster crime boss. William Hurt just, I don't
Yeah.
know. That's the one thing
Yeah.
I
You're
didn't
probably
particularly
right.
like about it.
No, you're right. What else was he in? Because I'm seeing his face. What else is?
William Hurt. I mean, I'll bring him up here real quick. He's been in like well, he's been in the Marvel movies recently, because he was like Thunderbolt Ross. He was actually a Hulk villain. Oddly enough, let's see, he was Altered States. You ever see that from the '80s? It's like a
Yes, I
surrealist.
did. Yeah.
I actually haven't seen it, but I think he's known of that. Accidental Tourist, which I thought was pretty boring movie. He was in. I know him from the sci-fi original Dune, where he was really bored.
Oh,
Trying
he's
to
in
think of.
Dark City too. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, he was in Dark City. He's the detective. I liked him in
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Artificial Intelligence. I guess he was in that.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a guy, good shepherd. Like, I don't know. He's never been an actor that I thought was
No,
as
you're right.
great as he was touted to be. So, and I just thought he wasn't that good in this, or the character wasn't well written, or something. It just that character didn't really work for me.
No, yeah, you're right. It would have been better if
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris had been the guy in the No
Mhm.
Brohim.
Yeah, no, just seriously, X out the Brohim and the carrot. I mean, that is memorable, I guess, but like Brohim, like what even is that? He's like, hey, like man, like they're just chilling, like it's the '60s. Like, I
Yeah.
guess because he hasn't seen his brother in a long time and he doesn't know him that well. Hey, Brohim, that's just took me right out of the movie, and I was
No,
laughing
you're
at my
right.
wife about it. I was for days after I saw the movie, like, what's up, Brohim? Like, why do you keep saying that? So it stuck with me, I guess, but I don't know if it was the intention. Hey. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say about A History of Violence. Honestly, it's been a little while since I watched it, but the performances were good. Vigo's good. I just agree with you. I wish the movie was a little longer and they explored all the characters a little more. It's like Violence. It's quick. It's a little short. Maybe over a little too soon.
Yeah. No, I agree with you about the brother. Um, yeah, he's incongruous with the like the background. Something like you're right. Yeah. And
He
it
sticks
is
out.
over it does feel a little it's building and then it's just kind of over pretty quickly. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I guess they just go about their business until the
Which
next pair of killers comes.
I was gonna say happy ending, maybe
Yeah.
sort of. Um, Yeah, I mean, he is able to go back, and his wife kind of deals with it. So good on her making that work, I guess. Yeah. Any other thoughts before we move on to the baddest of movies?
Um, no, I'm just no, I think that's it. Like I said, if yeah, watch it if you get to watch it again. I think really at the beginning it kind of sets itself up like in a kind of like a graphic novel with the
Mhm.
killers there. At least maybe I read that back into it, but it did seem that way.
No,
Um,
you're probably right. I'll have to.
it's easy
I'll
to, I
probably give it
think
a watch.
it's also easy to I don't know if this it's like it's easy to watch. You don't have to be like
Mhm.
super committed to it. Uh, we talked about movies before where like you have to be
Locked in, as the
zeroed
kids would
in. Yeah, I gotta. Yeah, you can't talk to me. I gotta be zeroed in on this. Yeah.
say. Mhm.
Um. Yeah, and it's kind of cool. It's fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
that's it.
Kelly.
All right. Well, that was my movie. So we're gonna pick your movie. Which, by the way, I don't know if you thought about this afterward, but these movies really go well together as a double. They have the whole similar commentary, similar atmosphere. They're both exploring violence. So yeah, I know you really touting this one, Terrence Malick. So take it away, Brad.
Well, you know what? I'm drawing a blank. What is the? I should have wrote this down. What's the name of the real killer that it's based on?
Badlands. Okay, it is based loosely on uh, the murder spree killer Charles Starkweather and his girlfriend Carol Ann Fugate in 1958, according to this.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just refreshing myself there. Yeah.
It's okay. It's
Yes,
been a bit.
Charles Starkweather. That's right. Because I did see after I watched the movie, I did see a part of a documentary about it, and apparently Terrence Malick told them he didn't want them to do any research about that because he wanted
Hmm.
them to kind of be their own characters. Um, so it follows these two young people. It kind of you really get the with Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek. So with Martin Sheen, it even mentions it several times. He looks like James Dean, Rebel Without a Cause type thing. It's in the Midwest. And so the Badlands are the area there in what is that, South Dakota, where they go out
Uh,
into
yeah,
the Badlands. Yeah.
you're right, South Dakota. Mhm.
Yeah, and it's kind of well, he's he's kind of a kickabout town kind of guy. He works as doing the trash, and then he just happens to see her. She lives alone with her father. He happens to see her and starts talking to Sissy Spacek character, who is a little younger. I believe she's 15 in the movie. Is that correct? Something. I'm
Yep.
trying to remember. It's 15. They
Yep.
fall in
15.
love, and then he ends up killing her father. They set the house on fire, and then they take off, and there's like a crime spree ensues. So this is loosely based on the true story. Um, so one thing I did, a couple of different things about the movie. One thing I did think that went really well was the entire movie is narrated by the Sissy Spacek character. She's remembering back. Some movies do that not very well, and I thought this movie did that well. The narration fit. It kept the movement was good. Um, and so it starts in this town. The father is murdered. They take off. They have to hide out. So you kind of have two different. You kind of have two different halves here, like the part in the town, and then when the characters begin to kind of burgeon out when they they're out in the wild, so to speak. And he ends up murdering a number of people. There's a big manhunt. There's this big it's a big thing. You have armed people walking the children to school. It's a big news thing. They're looking for them. Um, and so they take off in this car out across the space. You get some really good shots there as the car is taking off. They want to head for Canada, but then they're not sure. They're going through the Badlands area, very flat, wide open. So you get a lot of good shots of them in the car. They're driving at night. Some of those shots are cool as they're going through, driving across basically the open prairie at night. Um, and I also think, I thought with Martin Sheen and with Sissy Spacek, the acting was done very well, and the characters were, um, what's the word? I mean, they were realistic, and the way they related to each other. It wasn't overblown. It wasn't trying to be like a Bonnie and Clyde type of thing. Like you still get some of the naivete from the Sissy Spacek character. You got these two sides of the killer, but also a wannabe scholar gentleman with the Martin Sheen character. Um, Almost like they're he's a cold-blooded killer, but you're almost like it's one of those things where you end up rooting for him a little bit. Like he's got this very inflated view of himself then by the end, like he's doing something great. Um, so they're on the run, and then there's the scene at the end when they finally catch up to him, and I like that where he gets out and tries to take the rocks and build a little monument to himself where he was finally arrested, or he finally gave himself up. Um, So yeah, again, just to cover again, I thought the acting between the two, Martin Sheen and Sissy Spacek, worked very well. You kind of had that. It was based, so that's kind of, I guess, like the first maybe like true crime type story, uh, or at least a big one that was national news of that nature. You had like young lovers murdered the father on the run, um, and really like bringing to fruition the speaking of violence again, bringing to fruition the underlying violence of that generation, that rebel without a cause generation. Like this Martin Sheen character, um, almost drifting through life, purposeless. Um, do you have his name in front of you? The character's name? I should have pulled that up.
Yeah.
Drawing a
Let's see.
blank.
Holly is Sissy Spacek's character, and he's Kit
Kit.
Carruthers.
That's right. Kit. Kit, like the car on
Yeah.
Knight Rider. Yeah. That's it.
Hmm.
Different. There's no relation there. So anyway, drifting through, like not much going on. He's delivering trash, kicking it around, bumming cigarettes. It is like on Rebel Without a Cause, uh, when they say to him like, "What are you rebelling against?" and he says, "What do you got?" It's the same kind of thing. It's like, not really a plan, not really a motivation, but you still think you're doing something great because you're just reacting to what occurs to you,
Hmm.
or whatever is happening to you. Um, so, so anyway, those are some of my thoughts that I was kind of kicking around in my head. I liked just I really liked the movie.
Hmm.
Um, I thought it was done very well. What was Terrence Malick's next movie? Do you know?
Oh, wasn't his next one Days of Heaven, and then he quit for like
Yeah,
20
it was a
years?
while and then he quit. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And was this was his first movie, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think this is very good. Very well done for a first, at least major motion picture. I'm sure he did other things, but like that for the first one.
Hmm.
Um Also, I already mentioned some of the cinematography. Um y- some of the scenes, like with the burning house, with the father painting, some of the woodland scenes. I mean, it,
Hmm.
it is done very well, and it flowed. Um, the movie seemed to go when I watched it, it seemed to go by pretty quickly. Like it had a good flow to it. Not that it was too quickly, but it wasn't drawn out at all. There was a good flow
Hmm.
to it, I thought. Um, yeah, so that's my thoughts about Badlands
Hmm.
initially.
Hmm.
What do you
Until I
think, Joe?
change your mind.
Yeah, well, go
Well,
ahead and
I
crash
told
it.
you, Badlands, bad movie. No, no. I like this pick. I know Terrence Malick's like considered a legendary filmmaker, but I haven't seen too many of his movies. I think before this, I think I told you I saw The New World, and man, I don't know if I've seen anything else of his. People recommended Tree of Life. I still haven't watched it. Haven't seen Thin Red Line yet. So yeah, I think that was the only one I saw. So I want to see more of his stuff. But from what I know and from what I remember about New World, Terrence Malick is all about nature. He loves
Mm.
his nature shots. He loves using the natural world to as just kind of a canvas that he can film. And you're right. I think that's one of the things that was standing out to me was just it's just very deliberate, precise, well executed filmmaking. The from all the shots, I just love like it's kind of an intricate spin on the road movie. You know, the young lovers they go off, and it's kind of this innocent little thing. It's like part road movie, part traumatizing murder spree. But I love how it's kind of an interesting parallel to history of violence. Like everything's sort of understated, and but there's like a quiet beauty to the movie. We've talked about certain films that have almost this hypnotic flow, and I feel like it was very relaxing, and there was good music, but it was also a lot of natural sounds, natural ambience, birds, insects, the rushing of water, the sound of the engines, and it was felt very realistic. It had almost it was like low budget, but it was still precise, with probably enough money actually. But it had like an almost documentary feel. And you said the characters seem realistic, and I think that adds the believability of it. It's not very flashy, and
Mm.
I also think it's a little bit of a commentary on violence, kind of maybe similar to a history of violence, just done differently. Where the thing that stuck out to me, I like what you said about the narration. That was good. Sissy Spacek, blew out of the water because I didn't realize. I always thought Carrie was her first movie, but this one was, I guess. So yeah, she was great in Carrie, of course. So I liked her. Martin Sheen was good. And one of the things that stuck out to me, probably the thing that stuck out to me the most is, yeah, he's kind of got this like inflated ego. And I feel like it's probably this relatable thing where it's. I think there's a joke somewhere. Maybe it's Slipknot talked about it. How in their songs about how the Midwest produces the most serial killers or something. But there's something about like the humdrum, boring nature out there in the Midwest that I guess maybe some people feel like if they're poor, they're destitute, you're super rural and far cut off. Maybe whatever his situation was, we don't know. We just see his
Too flat.
actions yeah, in the flat. Yeah, it's like you feel flat, like
Too
you're not going
flat, man.
anywhere.
And you know what? It's too flat, and you get like you get the pull
I
from Canada and the Gulf. There's no,
yeah,
it's like the tornadoes. It's everything's you think everything is cool, and then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere,
no, that's a good point. It's like you got a lot of dry areas. You got the tornadoes. Personally, I wouldn't like the vast expanse of flatlands like that. Just like would make me like So like I couldn't imagine. I could definitely see that getting to people. And like I said, if you feel like you're going nowhere in your life, you might feel desperate, like that claim to fame, that stardom, the James Dean thing he's going for. Yeah, I'm gonna make a name for myself in my life, do something great, so to speak, which in this case is, hey, I'm going to run off with the girl, I guess, that I love, and I'm going to just try to make my way. And the killing is just kind of this great thing that I'm doing to make a name for myself. It's like the trying to create a mythic legend, but
hmm
obviously there's something not quite right there. There's at some point he lost his way. Never, we don't know. And I think that's one thing I think is interesting, and also the violence itself is kind of understated. And like a history of violence, it's quick. It's very quick. The violence is quick, and his rationality for it is very strange because he almost doesn't react to it. He has like this weird sense of honor to himself, like, "Hey, I gave the dad a chance. I'm leaving. Oh, well, I warned him, so I killed him." He justifies it to himself, but it's not, and he doesn't act like he's proud of it. It's not like he's gleefully going around killing people, which I thought was interesting. Is like, hey, like like when he killed his one friend, like, yeah, just had to do it,
hmm Oh yeah.
and and of course, this poor girl is just easily taken in by this much older man, which obviously is wrong. And she's clear, like you said, she's innocent, and she's like, I don't know what's happening. So it's really kind of a sad situation in a way. So and I always found that interesting. Do you think that Kit's character, Martin Sheen's character, would you describe him as like a sociopath? because he just seems like he just didn't care too much about what he was doing one way or the other. It was like super pragmatic, but it was like there was a disconnect with his
Yeah.
actions. It was very interesting.
Yeah. I think s- I think so. You know, it brought to mind the I don't know if you've ever heard of, read the book or seen the movie In Cold Blood.
Oh,
The Truman
Truman Capote.
Capote, yeah. The one of the
Mm-hmm.
killers was Perry Smith, who
Mm-hmm.
also dressed that way and was like that kind of character in real life.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a James Dean type thing, although Perry Smith was half Indian, half Native American, half Indian.
Oh.
Same kind of deal. That's why he like lured in Truman Capote. If you read
Mm.
In Cold Blood or if you see the movie, the Capote movie, I don't know if you ever saw that. Same, he kind of falls in
Mm-mm.
love with Perry Smith. Uh,
Oh.
but it's a little bit of that there because it's almost like I'm I'm justified in everything. I'm detached from the violence. When it turns out Perry Smith was the killer of the two, like the cold-blooded
Mm-hmm.
one of the two. There's two
Mm-hmm.
killers. Um, Same kind of thing, which is but he murders, and then like at that one point he's like speaking into the dictaphone, like giving wisdom for
Yeah.
and like, he's talking to her like he's got it all figured out. Remember the one part that cracks me up, like he took the football out and shot it. He's like, this is
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
need to lighten the load or whatever he said, and like shoots a football. Uh,
Yeah, it is kind of funny. There's a lot of little things like that where it's there's sort of a, I think, an everyman quality to it in a way that it's relatable, because I think that's what you say it's like about him, is that obviously it's a distorted extreme situation to be in, but you're right. There's a lot of funny moments like that where he's trying to have this wisdom and thinks he's doing a great thing, but he's also out in the middle of nowhere getting whatever job he can, unemployment. He doesn't know anything really, no real education. He's just like, I don't know. I guess it sounds right, and everything just kind of like whatever. I'm going with it. Like he's playing it off so cool, but like he has no idea what he's doing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like he keeps Holly, right? That's the Sissy Spacek character, Holly, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, Holly. I don't even know that like she's an extension. Like he needs her for like she's a possession or something. Like he needs her as an audience to witness what he's doing. Um, Something like
Yeah.
that. It's a bizarre
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. And then he's done, and he can like
Yeah.
set her free. I don't know. Which really builds it up at the end,
Mm-hmm.
like when they arrest him and you got the soldiers there, like he's like, who wants the calm and gives him the calm and they're talking to him and the one calls him James Dean again. It's just
Uh-huh.
um yeah.
Well, he sort of gets what he wants then. Like it. Okay, and here's the question: almost is like in a weird way. I guess I don't know. Maybe it's like about sensationalizing violence in the media or whatever. But the cops are sort of impressed by him. The troopers,
Oh
like they
yeah.
do think they're all kind of like, hey, like he's pretty cool. Like this whippersnapper here, this knucklehead going around killing people. You're just adorable, Gore. You know, like what? It's kind of
You know.
this. It's like it's almost like in a weird way he was right on some level, which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean
It's a history of violence.
I think yeah, it is a history. Yeah, well I mean what sells? It's like sex and violence is what
Hmm.
sells. It is like who are the most famous, some of the most infamous or famous characters in like what does America export? It's like
Hmm.
movie stars and like serial killers or something. It's in America we just talked with in History of Violence, you were talking about how you like gangster movies. Americans
Hmm.
love gangsters, like the gangsterism, and then you can bank robbers, gangsters, serial killers,
It's true.
especially if they have they're good looking or they have a flash to them, like
Hmm.
John Gotti, the Teflon Don. Like it's just like or like this character, there's almost like a blurring there between celebrity and serial killer, whatever.
Hmm.
It is weird. He got exactly what he was after. I mean, because I mean, he didn't care. He was loading trash for half a day and then bumming around. I mean, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. But
yeah,
very cool, naturalistic. They had good chemistry too, the two actors as well. I think they did as well.
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
very good. I thought that word. Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say too. Like, there's other movies with the similar, like the male and female type of thing on the run or whatever, or it doesn't work out. It's like oil and water, or it's like trying to do too much. There, you know,
Hmm.
he is an extreme he is like an extreme character, but still somehow subdued in the way that he's played. It's not like he's
Hmm.
not trying to be the Joker or something. Do you know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
like
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. It lets, and I feel like that is unlike History of Violence. It's not comic booky. Like that seems like a situation that could really come up. A person could be out there like that, and somebody very ordinary could fall almost into that situation somehow over time. And that's very interesting. Yeah. No, I agree. Well, I I think it was a really good first effort, and you said something too about the runtime. I It's interesting too. This was such a good pairing. This is about, I think, the same length of time. It's about 90 minutes now. I felt like it was longer because of some of the pacing, on the nature, not much going on. But I agree, it felt like it was worth it though. Like it didn't feel
Hmm.
like I was engaged the whole time, and it felt like a big story despite being so understated at the same time. So I think
Yeah.
it used the time really well. It was good,
Maybe because,
you know.
well, I'm gonna be honest. I think I know why it felt like it was. I watched it on YouTube, and the version I watched, like the person had the movie on there twice or something. So the when I looked at the runtime, it was
Uh,
huge, and it was only like halfway
oh,
through, and I'm like, oh, he must get away or something. And then
that
like I'm
I
like, oh, that's the end. I don't know. Maybe that was psychologically. I'm like preparing myself for a longer.
movie. Well, yeah, and I think, Terrence Malick's movies now, they're all like 3.5 hours or
Yeah.
something
So
like that.
maybe
Yeah.
I think I didn't know. So maybe I was probably prepared for like a 3 hour epic.
Hmm.
Yeah, they got him. That's it. Does he jump
Yeah.
out of the helicopter? Like,
Oh, that cool. And the
because he
sequel,
says at
they
the
call
one
it.
part, like, meet me at the, I forget where, the Hoover Dam or whatever, meet me somewhere.
Oh yeah, meet me somewhere, and it's just like, no. Do you think at
No.
the end she realized on some level that she was like, I don't want to be with you, kind of, or was she still like super into this guy
Yeah. Well,
by the end?
I think he realized toward there, like she was done anyway with him. So he's trying to be romantic about it. Like that's his whole thing. He's like the romantic outlaw. So he's like, meet
Hmm.
me wherever. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. Do you think it was maybe, obviously she was young and he's very impressionable. Do you think that she was just super traumatized, or do you think on some did she just not, because that's one thing I thought was strange is he does kill her dad, and I feel like the dad was protective of her clearly, but she kind of just was like, oh,
That's weird.
like he
You
got
know
killed.
what though?
Yeah, it
I'm gonna
was
be
like.
honest.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I know what you mean. You I've there's sometimes like some real life, some real like true crime type stories where stuff like that happens and you're like, what do you they just roll with the punches, like someone just murdered your parents and you still go off with this guy. Like those are
It,
not completely rare, like where the boyfriend or the guy murders some mother, father, or both, and they just
Well, especially, and I'm not an expert on it, but I'm guessing this is obviously was a young girl, a much older guy could, manipulate her. And I think the way it was almost like told in the film was like he was able to rationalize everything, and honestly, part of it might have just been her shutting down, and like you said, going with it. Maybe on some level she was afraid, or and he was so smooth talking and chill about it that it was like, oh, like it was very strange. But then again, like you said, it's based on a true thing, and stuff like this happens, and I mean, and honestly, she was that young,
yeah.
probably completely traumatized her, and she just like. It's sad. It's really sad because I really liked the father, the guy painting
Oh
the
yeah.
advertisements, and
Yeah.
I think they said like the mother died and he was just looking out for the daughter, and
Good
like
guy.
clearly
Yeah.
like dude, like you stay away from that guy, like
You can smell that.
obviously.
Yeah.
And it just and I so I felt really bad about that, it's and I kind of wanted more of that. Yeah, I don't know. So I just so it's like, but it's interesting though, like you said, he does these things, but he's still oddly likable in a weird way. It's very humanizing, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. Ready for the sequel? Good Skies.
It's from the director of Badlands. Good skies.
It's just people chilling. They're like just like
Ah, it's good up here.
helicopters.
Nice.
Hey man, just flying around the
It's
mountain. I told you to meet me. Where you
it's
been?
John
It's been 25
Travolta
years.
flying or something. I don't know. These guys are pretty good.
Yeah,
Uh, he's
cool.
back. It's Martin Sheen. Still killing
He's
people
come back from
again.
like he's he's like 80 years old now. Oh man, that no, that would be kind of hilarious though. What is it? I think in Apocalypse Now. And did you ever see? Before we go off the rails, have you ever seen Major Pain
I've seen part of it.
with the
Yeah.
Wayans?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's not like a great comedy by any means, but there is the one part at the very beginning where of course there's Martin Sheen Apocalypse Now, where it's been like, what does he say? It's been 4 days since I killed a man, and Major Pain is like, it's been 4 seconds since I killed a man. It's pretty good. So yeah, I that's a good movie too. Apocalypse Now, redo,
I thought you meant
whatever.
Major Pain.
No, Major Pain,
Oh,
Major
I like
Pain's fine.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
Apocalypse Now. That's a good
Major
movie.
Pain's fine, but literally that's like the first 5 minutes is the best gag, and it's a silly little kids movie, I guess. But
Yeah, I'm gonna be
it's
honest. Speaking of war movies and Terrence
uh,
Malick, Thin Red Line. You
uh
haven't seen that?
no, I've always wanted to. You think
Maybe
it's
I won't.
overrated?
Maybe I won't tell you anything about it.
Save it for later. Save, yeah, keep
I'll
my
save
thoughts
it.
fresh.
I'll save that for later.
Okay, save it for later. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what, because I do want to ask you this before we wrap up. The between the two movies, since we did a double, which is kind of rare, um, do you would you say that Badlands is the better movie of the two? Probably.
Uh, I think so. Yeah.
I think it is too. I really want to like a history of violence more because I feel like it should be more my thing, but I'm like, no, I think Badlands is a little better. Um,
It is. Yeah.
for sure. But
It's like
yeah.
one of those. It's a distinction without a difference, I guess. But like, sometimes, well, this is a film and this is a movie. Um, it's
Mhm.
more like it's more of a film.
It's more
It's
refined. One is
it's
more.
just better overall. I
See,
think there's just yeah.
ultimately, Brad, as I twirl my empty iced tea here, you see, one film is in the Criterion Collection, one is not.
Ooh, not Criterion. Yeah, nothing there. History of Violence in
Did
the
not
Criterion
quite
closet.
not didn't quite make the
Major Pain
Criterion
in the
cut.
Criterion collection.
You never know though. Criterion will, they'll justify anything Criterion sometimes.
Yeah.
Armageddon's in Criterion, man. I can never get over
For
that.
real?
Yeah, for real.
No, I don't
Yeah.
care for that.
Yeah, yeah, and the essay about it, like, oh yeah, big, lens on pop culture, big movie. No, no,
Yeah, it's a big something.
he's got space dementia, man. Like that's not. It's funny. I mean, you can put it in like Arrow or some cult movie classic, but it's not. It's not Criterion. It's a different animal. It's a different animal.
Hmm.
Yeah, man. Well, this was like it's been if you can believe it, like 4 months since we recorded a movie
Is that real?
podcast. Yeah, I was checking. I'm like, man,
Oh man.
we towards the end of the school year. I mean, I was tired. I know you said you were burnt out, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I was like, man, because we talked about do. I think when did we do this? Like talk about April maybe or
April
May?
probably. Yeah.
It was just like, man,
It just
we
kept
didn't
yeah,
get
well
to.
we were gonna do it and I kept canceling and different things came up.
Oh
Huh,
yeah, it
four
just
months.
it
I didn't
just
know it was that long.
yeah, no, I was looking. I'm like, man, it's been 4 months since the last one. But we did. That's why we did two. We gave the people,
Hmm. What they want.
double. Give the people what they want, Brad. We probably should like ask people what they want us to review. I know we do that sometimes, but I feel like we usually don't deliver. We just talk about
Just do
whatever we want to
whatever I
talk.
want to.
But yeah, and if whatever, maybe we'll give the people what they really want sometime. But
What do they
um,
want? Do we
what
know what
people?
they want? What people want?
Does anybody know what you
Does
want?
anyone know what anybody wants?
Oh, that's deep, man. That's one of the big questions. Um, indeed. But yes, people, you can throw comments if you're listening or watching, but we will look at them and who knows. But we just pretty much do what we want here. But I will say this though, Um, I don't know. It might be my pick next. I think if we switch off, if I was right about the order, which I think I was,
I think you're right.
um, which means I'll just have to figure out what we're going to talk about next. But I don't know what that's going to be. So hopefully it won't be 4 months before we do another one, Brad, because then we'll be in the next school year and we'll never have time again.
Just two per year.
Two per year. I know. I think we did better actually in the school year. It was kind of funny for most of it. We were doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but History of Violence, Badlands, really good pairing. Yeah, any final thoughts, feelings, reservations, Mr.
No,
Brad?
I thought they went well together. I thought they're both pretty good. I like Badlands better, but I like A History of Violence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good movies. Um, yeah, good job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Good, solid picks, I say. Good, solid picks. All right, everybody. Well, please let us know your thoughts on these movies if you've seen them. Check them out. I think they're both worth watching for sure. And keep a lookout on one of our channels for when we post the next one. And we'll keep you posted. Maybe like in July or something. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Say goodbye, Brad.
Goodbye, Brad. Good night, Joe.